Today, I want to talk to you about getting a box after you got your does and you want to breed them so that you can milk them. Well, let's talk about it. Well, you can get a box as a kid, like when you get your does, and a lot of people will do that. They'll raise them up together, and that's totally fine to do that, but you do need a anti-breeding apron, and if you notice your goats in heat, you need to separate them because accidents do happen. And a doe as young as 4 months old can go into heat, and so that means a little kid at 7 months old, younger than 7 months old, and that is way too young. If they're bred that young, they'll likely not make it through without a C-section, and if they have a C-section, it's a very long recovery. So if you raise them together, you will need to get an anti-breeding apron, because don't say it won't happen, you'll catch it. No, they'll usually go in heat during the nighttime, and so you won't even know they're in heat. Beginner goat owners also can't really understand the signs as well. You know, after you are into goats for a couple years, you'll start to recognize it more and more, but in the very beginning, it's gonna be difficult to understand those signs, and so yeah, you probably lose a doe if you do that. So you do need an anti-breeding apron, and also you'll need, if they do go in heat, I would highly recommend separating them, because the accidents still can't happen with the anti-breeding apron because they can get twisted and stuff. So, when you get your buck, you also want a separate pen, because when your goats are pregnant, the buck often think that they're in heat, because it's like they sense, they just sense the smell and stuff, and so they'll think they're in heat when they're actually pregnant and try to mate with them, and that won't kill your goat or anything. Just not a good idea. And when your goats give birth, they cannot be with the buck. A buck can actually kill the kids, so you don't want them with them when they give birth. But it's also, when your goats are giving birth and they're separate from the buck, that buck's gonna be lonely. So you do want to get a wether. Vanilla here is actually, he's a wether. That's just what, he's fixed in other words, but it's castrated is the correct way to say it. But if you do want information on castrating goats, you can also check my other video on that. So you do want a wether with your buck so that he's not lonely. Beer. The thing is, bucks can be pretty strong, so you do want you don't want a tiny pet wether. You kind of want a good sized wether. And wethers are usually, in most cases, they're the sweetest things, because they're not they're often sweeter than does, because when the goats go in heat, hey, Connell, be nice. When the goats go in heat, the buck and the does kind of act crazy. So a wether doesn't act crazy, in my perspective anyways. So if you can, but another thing you can do is, if you don't want to keep extra goats and stuff that aren't doing anything for you other than making your heart happy, this is what Vanilla does. He's actually, I don't know, this was his Carmel's son. I just wanted to keep him because he's so sweet and everything. So and I don't have that many goats, so I mean, why not keep an extra one? But if you do not want to do that, you can just get pet wether and keep it with the buck, and then once you're ready to breed again, you can rehome the wether. But and personally, I would just keep one. If you're gonna get one, I would just keep it, because once they're bred, you're just gonna need one again, unless you plan on rehoming the buck or anything. So also, wethers can often, a lot of people will use them to know when their goat's in heat. So if they don't want the buck with them because they want to like make sure they get their dates accurate, their due dates accurate, they'll use a buck to see if the goat's in heat and then bring it with the buck and breed it. Goats are only in heat for a very short amount of time, like 12 to 48 hours I think it is. And so if your goat's going heat at the nighttime, you probably won't notice it. So make sure you get those dates accurate and everything. The buck is the most important thing of your entire herd. So you want to make sure you're getting good genes. You don't want any bad genes in there. Like, you do not want, aggression is the main thing you do not want. If you have an aggressive goat, do not breed him because the kids will be that way too. I actually did experience that with my buck I had, but he's gone now because like you cannot use those as breeding. And I don't currently have a buck right now. I'm actually just gonna give my girls just rest this year. I am milking them, so I am gonna milk them through the entire year and just wait to breed them next year. And goats can stay in milk for a while, so currently I not have a buck, but I probably will get one next year to breed. But obviously I will need separate fencing and housing, so I was just like, I'm just gonna give them a break this year because I don't want to. I already got enough projects to build other than another fence and house and everything. So for genes, you want very good genes. You want good milking lines because those kids are going to get the dad's genes. Well, they're going to get both the parents' genes, but if you got a bad gene, you're giving it to your entire herd's kids. If you're breeding 10 does, all those kids are going to have the father's genes. So if, if it's just like one of the moms have a small bad gene, it's just going to be one of those moms, just her kids and not everyone else's. But that buck is super important to have good genes. Getting registered buck is a great idea because you can see their lines, you can see that they're good milkers, so you know for certain that those are actual good genes and everything. So that is a good idea, honestly. They are, like, obviously registered goats do cost more, but in the long run it is worth it because if you're going to be using that buck for your entire herd, it's honestly a good idea. Non-registered goats are absolutely fine, but you do want to make sure you're getting good genes. And when you buy your buck, just ask questions. Ask about the parents, ask how much his mama produced, and like any information you can get. Hey, be nice. And so make sure you do that. Now, you can get a kid or you can get an adult. Either way, I recommend like getting the does first and then getting a buck when they're old enough, just because like if that buck is with the does as kids, an accident can happen is the first reason. The other reason is when those goats give birth, the buck's gonna be like, hey, where's my buddies? Because they bond as kids, and it's just gonna leave that goat confused. And so unless you get a buck, a wether, and does at the same time, that way the buck can bond with the wether, and that would work out. Now if you got different types of breeds of goats, then say you have a Nigerian Dwarf and then you got a couple other larger breed of goats. For a buck, you're going to want to get a Nigerian Dwarf. So you want to get a buck that can breed your smallest goat, because if you breed a buck, say you breed an Alpine buck to Nigerian Dwarf, that Nigerian Dwarf is either going to die or going to need a C-section, because that is way too large of a goat. So you want your buck to be able to breed your smallest doe. Now, if you have, say you got an Alpine, you got a Saanen, you got a Nubian or something like that, and you're not sure what type of buck to get, you could honestly just get a Nigerian dwarf, because those, okay, yeah, all of the goats will be mixed, but you're getting something, it will usually have that large breed type genes, but then a smaller version of it, and obviously it will probably produce a little bit less, because Nigerian dwarfs do produce a little bit less of milk, but it is an option. Now, the other option here is, if you don't want to keep a buck because you don't want to do separate fencing or housing or whatever, you can rent out a buck, and there's different ways you can do that. Either you can bring the buck to your farm and breed all your does, or you some farms will allow you, some people that rent them out will allow you to breed all your goats, but usually it's just they allow you to do one at a time. But there's people that will allow you to do them all, so you can do that. And if you're starting out, that's not a bad option, because the person breeding them that you're renting from will probably have more experience, and you'll be able to, they'll probably be able to give advice to you. The thing is, I super highly recommend getting your buck without horns, because bucks are usually big and tough, and now I'm saying, like, there is super nice bucks out there. Like, there's like super nice, nicer than a doe, and they can be very nice. But I'm just saying, often when they get and going rough, they kind of get a little rough. Not super, like, if it's a good buck, it's not gonna be like, ram into you randomly kind of thing. I just mean, like, kind of like tougher, and he might hurt you on accident. But if you got a good buck, it wouldn't be on purpose. But I'm just saying, like, it's a good idea to get it without horns, because accidents like that do happen. Also, they're usually a little bit stronger than your does, and so you want their power to equal out as much as possible. So if you're getting a buck with horns, you might be stronger, get more food than them, and all that stuff. So better to have them without horns. So just make sure you're getting a buck with good genes. So all those kids can get good genes. Now hear me here, if you're breeding for milk, then the genes are way more important than the looks of the goat. Like, if you got a colored buck like this, less milk genes, but then there's a buck that looks like this with good milk genes, you gotta just go for the good genes, because all those kids are gonna have them. And if you get real bad genes, those goats are gonna end up as pets or to the slaughterhouse. So go for the good genes. So I hope this helped you out. Be sure to subscribe for more goat videos, and check out my other goat videos if you want to get some goats. Follow my Instagram. I sometimes will post my farm animals there, and you can just go on Instagram, search Glow the Farm Girl, and show up, and I often will post pictures and stuff of them on there. So see you next time.